guitarists bump into various problems once they start trying to learn songs. And even very experienced guitarists often struggle to remember how to play songs more than a few days after they last played them. And yet there are other guitar players who seem to be able to just hear a song once and play it right immediately straight away. And yet others who can apparently play a song purely from memory even if they haven't played it for the last 5 years. In this series of lessons, we'll get to the bottom of this mystifying state of affairs. And I hope that by understanding different approaches to learning songs, we'll be able to make their learning an easier and more enjoyable process for you from now on. There are at least 4 completely different ways to go about learning to play a song. The way that nearly all of us start out learning songs is simply to read the chord sequence off a sheet of paper, or perhaps these days more likely off a digital screen of some sort. Here's a quick look at just some of the ways we might find this song information presented. Each of these presents different levels of detail, but the minimum requirement that we guitarists need to work with is simply a chord sequence. And once you've learnt a few chords, you should quite suddenly find that you can strum your way through hundreds of different songs simply by following the sequence as written out. I call this learning songs by reading. But the interesting thing about this approach to learning songs is that it can easily give you the illusion that you've learnt a song, when in fact if you're asked to play the song at a time when you don't have the written copy of the chord sequence to hand, you discover that at best you have an incomplete knowledge of the chord sequence, unless it's a very simple song. Even after many years of playing the same song this way by reading the chords, it's surprising that you never really quite arrive at actually learning the song. There's a very good analogy to this, I think, in the art of road navigation. Because my wife is a far better navigator than I am, when we go to new places, it's almost always me that does the driving, with her giving me directions. The result is that even if I've driven somewhere many times following her directions, if I then have to make that same journey on my own, I can't seem to be able to follow the route without having to stop and consult a map or a navigation app of some sort. So I think this phenomenon is down to normal brain function. When we play through a song by reading the chord sequence, then I think our brains are in instruction following mode. And in that mode, they don't automatically store the information for future use. This doesn't mean we can't learn a song this way, but it does mean that we don't do so automatically, no matter how many times we play through a song by reading it off the page. As a pro musician, I often play songs by reading them straight off the page. And that's a really useful thing to be able to do. But over the years, I have learnt that being able to read a song is nowhere near the same thing as having really learnt a song. Really learning a song is similar in many ways to getting to know a person. It's an ongoing process and doesn't necessarily have a finite limit to it. In the next lesson, I'll take this a step further when I talk about how to memorise a song. If you found this little video interesting, please click on the like button if there is one, or leave a comment. And do feel free to share the video with your friends. And if you'd like to gain full access to all our guitar teaching materials, please visit the Secret Guitar Teacher site and take a free look round at what's available there. See you again soon.